Alright, this is my third time recording this video. Alright, so this is Mycopunk. This video is about why you should play Mycopunk, what I find interesting about Mycopunk, and what I find good about it, and what I find bad about it, as well as what is Mycopunk, and why you should probably give it a try. Before I launch, this game is a looter, shooter, horde shooter. And obviously if you've played anything like Helldivers, you're obviously very familiar with the horde shooter genre, or if you play something like Deep Rock Galactic, or maybe Darktide, Space Marine, games like those, then you're probably very familiar with this. There is also the fact that this game's a looter shooter, and you can get upgrades for your characters that all have random rolls like this, and as you can see, give you some incentive to really build and craft your character and get the proper roll. Loot isn't too rare that you need to worry about it, but it's not like extremely common that you have hundreds of millions of these exotics. Now, I want to also preface this by saying, before I talk anything, the upgrade system kind of looks like this. You kind of slot things in, and I was told this as a newer player. I don't know if this is necessarily true, but you need to be level 8 with all of the characters in order to rotate them. I don't know if that's true. If it is, leave a comment. If it's not, leave a comment. I don't really know myself, and there isn't really a proper wiki on this game. But hey, if that is true from the person who told me it, then yeah, that's for you to know. And so the entire game has you upgrading your characters and trying to find a way to fit their upgrades neatly and succinctly into this board, so you can kind of get as much as a power boost as you can. And with that, I will start the first mission. So I'm going to be playing Wrangler, and you might be like, okay, what are the characters? Well, the characters are robots, and the basic story is that these robots all are being put into this company called Saxon to farm Saxonite from an abandoned colony planet, because they all have nowhere to turn to. Wrangler is a cowboy robot who used to do movies, and he kind of went out of the job, so he very much is working at Saxon because he has nowhere else to go. And he is a very basic character that is quite fun. He has a lasso that lets him pull himself towards enemies and also pull allies toward him. As you can see, you can aim it vertically, gain some nice amount of height. You can aim it pretty much anywhere and grab onto a whole series of things. The main way that he survives, though, is with his these two abilities and speed. Because, as you can see, there is a lot of enemies, and most of them are melee. So, you can do this. You grapple and you make distance. You can also use your air dash, slide, and this air dash does not give you invincibility. The reason why it does, even though it says it on the far left, is because I have a augment for it. And that's something you need to keep in mind, because this thing will not make you immune by default. So it's mostly a movement tool, and that's not a bad thing. Mostly because, as you can see, movement is really good. As you can see, I can maneuver around these entire crowd. So, something I want to preface is every character has a utility ability. It's not a damage ability, it's not a support ability, it's utility. Why is it called utility? Because they all have their different functionalities. You can use the lasso in order to be more supportive and grab enemy body or allied body parts and bring them to you, reviving them much quicker or bringing them out of danger. Or you can use it like this, and you know, you very much get out of tight spaces where you would otherwise have to worry about the approaching melee enemies. And not only that, but every character has a movement ability, and in this case Wrangler's is the dash. And his dash is really good, but you want to focus on mainly the movement of Wrangler and increasing slides, because slides, among other things, is a really good way to boost our ability, because, well, as you can see, there isn't really a easy source of healing in this game. And even though I am healing constantly here, enemies will drop these health globs, and that's what heals you naturally. I am healing through my grenade. That's because fire grenade intrinsically kind of does this when you get mods for it, and that's very good. And that's something you should keep in mind for when you play this game. The grenades have their own roles, and I'll get to that in a bit. The main thing I want to talk about now is the other characters. Bruiser, which I'm going to play after this, has a more supportive, tank-oriented playstyle, and is really fun, I'll be honest with you. And he has a hard light shield that can project a barrier that blocks the range of projectiles. But you do see there is a few occasional range enemies, but it's mostly melee. And at the same time, he also has a leap that he can cancel, or the leap can go into a smash, which is also really good. I was really in a tight spot. See, that is why movement is really important to this game, because I was able to dodge all of these explosive enemies and kind of make my way past all of that danger without getting hit once by any of those melee. Movement is a very good way to keep yourself alive, and many characters don't have an intrinsic way of doing any more outside healing. So Wrangler's whole thing is having all this movement speed on the ground, and then also getting some improved damage. He's the only character who can get extra damage because of this upgrade right here, Eyes Appear. That will be later, but yeah, no. Whole thing about him, movement, damage, and a slight bit of utility. Very fun character. If you liked seeing the Yeehaw Cowboy Man, you know, fucking do all that you just saw with the big iron on his hip right here, then you'll probably like Wrangler. Next up is Bruiser.
That feels good.
Bruiser, as I was just talking about, he is another very fun character. Now, what does Bruiser actually do? As I was saying, he has a hard light projector that when you use it, it spawns this barrier, pushes away enemies, and you can augment it so it gives you an overshield at the top there, that blue bar for your health, and that makes it way harder to kill you. On top of this, he has that nosedive I was talking about, where you can jump, smash into the air, or you can not smash after you jump and you will get half the charge back. And it's actually really, really fun.
Go get us some good money.
And the main thing about Bruiser is you are kind of the anchor with your team. You are very much the support. I don't want to say support. You're the tank. You are the Bruiser for a reason. Bruiser's whole thing is that he kind of got Saxon because maybe hurt too many people, and you know got himself into a pretty bad scenario where he's either get salvaged or work for Saxon, and he took this opportunity. Now, he is a very fun character because, as you can see, one of his augments gives you that little muscle up ability, and that is an ability that gives him DR. And he is a very, very tanky character, and since he intrinsically has that leap, he actually can get a lot of utility from vertical momentum, and also has this nice little ability that I finally used that gives him DR, if you have the Aquifer, which you also get from something that I'll mention later. And in all honesty, I find him a lot of fun because if you like being a big bad bruiser who's quite tanky, you will probably like him because, as you can see from the top rope, smash, debuff, do big damage, and I am out. And I still have that barrier. See, the movement on him may not be as crazy as, like, let's say Wrangler, right? But I've definitely survived a lot more scenarios that I really shouldn't have, right? And because of that, it actually makes him quite fun to play because, see, I am back to full health again. I'm getting that a lot. I come from the top rope and these really big enemies just kind of fall over. And if I'm in any real danger, I can press that DR ability. I take a lot less damage. Those explosions would have killed me on Wrangler, but they don't. And that is really, really good and worth mentioning. Because intrinsically, by playing this character, you can take a lot more damage than anyone else. And that is a good thing to know. Especially because, as you can see, I cleared that mission a lot faster due to me having a nice slam on my movement ability. And yes, that slam is his movement ability, despite it doing all that crazy stuff due to my augments. Boom! And there isn't really much to say anymore on him, because, I mean, as you can see, he's pretty simple to understand. You have a barrier that helps protect you and your allies, and if you mod it, it can give you some healing. On top of this, he also has really good clear in the form of his slam, and on top of this, he is just a very tanky man. And I honestly love Bruiser. He is a very, very fun character. And he, I feel, is kind of like a fun one to mess around if you are more inclined to do more funny playstyle. He's not as bad as I fucking showed him as to be here, because, like, there's a lot of better setups. I just like this really big one. There's other augments that let him slam multiple times, so you can do 3 bounces or 2, and there's other ways to improve his slam, but as you can see, that was pretty good. Now, something I will say is, before I move on to the next character, is I personally want to talk about how this game doesn't have a proper wiki. So, a lot of things you'll find either through the community, through the Mycopunk Discord and talking to people there, or discovering yourself, and generally things like that. And so, don't be afraid that when you start playing the game, I don't know, grab a friend who might know the game already, or you join the Discord so you can get more knowledge on it. And with that, I will move on to Scrapper. Now, the thing about Scrapper is she was left on a salvaging planet, and very much so kind of was pissed about it. So when she made it off that salvaging planet by sneaking onto a ship, and subsequently started fucking around with Saxon, who left her for dead, she very much was, instead of getting scrapped, got a job offer.
10 seconds.
And
Get inside and get ready to roll.
see, this actually ends up being kind of a part of her playstyle, because a lot of her stuff, her augments or mods here, involve scrap. And in this case, there's one augment here where when you kill enemies, you get scrap and you move faster. As you all saw, moving faster is a very good way to avoid damage if you don't have any outside healing, like from this fire grenade. her main thing is that she has a jetpack that's momentum based. So if you jump and you press square, as you can see, you get vertical momentum. But if you jump, yeah, see, I jumped late and I was going down, so that way the jetpack made me go down and I couldn't go up. Like this, I go down, but if I jump and then immediately jetpack, I go up. And you want to keep that in mind because your jetpack can get you some vertical momentum and it can break your falls. And then the other part is this grappling hook, which is insane, by the way, because as you can see, oh, that's my bad. You can get a lot of vertical height with this, and it generally keeps you safe from all of the enemies. And on top of this, one of the augments lets you just fucking heal while you're grappled. And so this makes playing Scrapper very safe. But at the same time, you also have the fact that you are a character who can move your grapple points, your things that, you know, let you move around a lot, and your allies can also use these grapple points. So Wrangler, who may not have a lot of, you know, a lot of ways to avoid aside from just sliding and skating around. Yeah, now he can take your grapple point and has a way to avoid all the damage by being in the air, and it's very, very nice actually, because as you can see, I have a decent amount of speed from the scrap, and I am not really worrying as much about enemies as I was with Bruiser or Wrangler because I'm always in the air. And now the eyeball here is an augment, so like keep that in mind. You don't exactly get to just freely move it around like that all the time. However, the thing about grapple point is you can place it on walls and surfaces when you don't have this augment, and that honestly is still really good, because if you can just place it on a wall, you can place it on, let's say, that building over there, and then realistically that still does the same thing as what I'm doing right now. You have vertical height that lets you avoid a lot of things, and that is kind of unparalleled, because this is the whole issue with this game having a lot of melee enemies, is that, well, if the enemies are mostly melee, with a few ranged enemies, you can just kind of avoid the really scary melee enemies by just hovering. And of course you can go for a more speed-oriented scrapper, where you don't really use the grapple hook as much, but I would recommend building into the grapple point, because it's good. It's really good, as you can tell. And honestly, it's what makes Scrapper really fun. This is actually over way quicker than even the Bruiser one. See? Front, I kind of fumbled that. I get really confused with which way is the front very easily. I am very, very dumb when it comes to directions. But that was Scrapper, and now we're going to be moving on to Glider. And Glider is a very strong class. Old medical robot, became a Saxon employee. Actually, I can just show you the bios of this. So actually, I'll quickly. Here you go. If you want to read Wrangler's one, you can pause the video, read that. Here's Bruiser's one. Here's Scrapper's. And here is Glider's. So, the whole thing about Glider is Glider is kind of very strong. Despite being the de facto support character, she has rockets that do alright damage against weaker chaff enemies, like the melee enemies you'll see later. But more importantly, she also can just fly, and just being able to fly while shooting those rockets, kinda good. And those rockets you can also target at allies to heal them instead. And so you're going to see very quickly that you don't really need to worry about anything when you play Glider, because in early stages, when you start up the game and you start playing it early on, you don't really have things that can keep you in the air forever, but as soon as you start getting the better upgrades later on in the skill tree, like into the purples and some of the blues, you can very quickly find yourself just being in the air permanently. And that's kind of insane, because as you just saw, Scrapper kind of trivializes most of the melee enemies. And since that's all you really need to worry about, well, that's kind of sucky. You kind of just ignore half of, or not even half, 90% of the enemies.
Loaded hard drives with your name on it. Upload them and you'll
And
bonus.
I'm gonna be real with you. As much as I liked Glider when I originally was playing this game, Glider is the most played character because she is just so good. As you can see, one of the many upgrades is you just deal damage and you infinitely get fuel. And that's kind of strong because, well, look at that. As long as I just keep shooting, because if I move in the air, it stops me from shooting with this gun specifically, because it has to charge up a little bit, as you can see by the meter, which is fine because this thing is amazing and really good, as you can see. I can just kind of stay in the air permanently and keep repositioning, and there's not really anything I have to worry about. Like, oh yeah, by the way, the dot fire, as you can see, also keeps you in the air, which is damn. And like we're already halfway there. I am doing even better than Scrapper. And generally, I have nothing to really worry about while I play like this. I don't have much to comment on either, because it's like, this speaks for itself, right? This literally speaks for itself. I don't know what else I could really say. Oh, you're a Ooh. Got to a tight spot here because this enemy has a shield, and then I'm out. Let's reposition over here. Let's actually finish this. Yep. And we're already done. Ooh, there's an enemy behind me. I saw that. Let's see. Oh! That's honestly my fault, because I'll be real with you. I get really lazy when I play this character, mostly because of how strong she is. And you can pretty much do the same when you're in later game. I recommend you stay more vigilant than me, though. It's like, obviously, you know, if you just play lazily like I do, then you're gonna be able to get killed even when you can't stay in the air. And the nice thing is the ranged enemies are the one thing that really kind of puts pressure on you when even playing Glider or Scrapper. And that's something I like about this game, because even if you are in the air like this, you are, you know, nigh immortal. You can get shot down eventually. And that's something that honestly does help. That's honestly something that really makes this game fun, is that nothing is completely overpowered. Wow! That's not true. That's not true. Nothing is completely overpowered. But like, there's definitely things that are way stronger, but you can make a lot of things that aren't as strong shine pretty brightly due to the modding and augmenting. Oh, I actually pushed out. Obviously, you're probably noticing that I can't pick up a lot of the health blob rolls because I'm in the air, but that's kind of fine.
Hop around and get in the zone.
Considering I can just go on the ground here for a second and then get back up. Where's the thing that's making you invincible? Oh, it's right there. Oh, and it just moved. Yeah, I really want to complete this side objective just for the fun of it. I at this point, as chaotic as the mission has gone.
I need you guys inside the zone.
Oh, that's the first Obama that spawned. Abominations are mini bosses that kind of spawn in the mission occasionally. Oh! I got too careless there. I know this is kind of fun, isn't it? That it can get as hectic as this. And you can have a bunch of fun playing around all the dangers and the bosses like this. Come on. Oh, reset it back there.
I know this is exciting, but I need you guys inside.
I know, Roachard. Oh, you have an anti-gravity. Destroy that shield. Ah, it's really hectic. I might just call it quits because I am fucking second right now. And extract. Because I mean, honestly, I did already complete it. But I believe in myself somewhat. And a better player, a way better player, could probably do this better than I am right now. Alright. I think I'm gonna call an extraction because I keep fumbling this.
Drop on away. Be seeing you rascals soon.
You know, I've probably spent the most time showcasing a character off with just Glider, because even in these most chaotic, hectic, very difficult fights on the 6th difficulty, not the hardest difficulty, but the second hardest difficulty, I can do a lot of, I can escape a lot of situations I really shouldn't. and I definitely wanted to showcase us that more because you could definitely tell I was way more careful on the other classes, but I definitely got away with a lot more stupid shit with glider. I definitely shouldn't have gotten close to a lot of those enemies there, but hey, I mean, it works. It works. I managed to get out. I mean, I also completed that mission insanely quickly. And there we go. But yeah, that's all the characters. Now I actually get to talk about the other stuff. So the other things in this game are the grenades, the guns, and the very fun upgrades to build craft with. I'm going to actually start with the grenades, because the grenades, as well as your character upgrades, are kind of the crux to your build. All the status effects in this game are pretty much the same. They do the same amount of damage. They do very much the same things, I want to say. And because of that, oh. I actually completely forgot that they did a rework of some of the things on this gun. I don't think I've actually bothered to change this after they reworked it. Oh. That's actually something I am going to do right now. And you actually get to see me kind of mod this live after they changed it. And yeah, that. Is there something else I'm forgetting? Oh yeah, there's a lot of fun augments for weapons and characters like this, like residue. I believe there is a what is it? I believe there is a here we go. Being Lunky. Increase magazine size and your bullets randomly deal between 1% and 200 damage. Fun, wacky augments like that add a lot to the game by just doing crazy shit like that. I'm forgetting something. I think that was the setup. See, before, on the revolver, this upgrade right here used to be a big circle that took up like half the space here, so you would kind of just have this, and oh wait, actually I am forgetting one. It was, where is it? This shrapnel loading, and this revolver actually recently got nerfed. To my dismay, which is fine. That being said, I honestly do like it when the devs mess around with balance, because like this gun I don't personally believe was the most broken thing ever. I felt like it was fine, but clearly the devs felt like it was a big enough problem they needed to change it, and that's fine. I mean, I can disagree with the devs and they can change the game, and that's fine. Not everyone's gonna agree, and I am only one voice. Other people may have different voices and opinions. What else would I want now that there's more free space? I don't think I would want that. Some extra damage would be kinda nice. But yeah, I personally don't agree with the balance changes, but hey, you can always, you know, move things around on your build and change things up when things do happen. Because I mean, obviously this augment no longer takes like all of this space, and now we have more space to maybe fit on other damage augments and other things to sort of make up for the changes. Because for example, this augment, or actually it was this one. This one massively reduces ammo capacity, and so the fact that got changed, and you know, now there's more space, I can actually counteract that ammo capacity nerf if I decide to build into it.
No, no, no!
And as you can see,
Next
after I
supply
fit that,
shipment is
I fit
delayed, gang.
everything.
You know
I
what
feel
that
pretty
means.
well,
Find a bag of Saxitos
and
not expired, and I'll buy
I
'em off
managed
you.
to slip in
double.
this, all the things from before. Nice thing, by the way, all of them have loadouts, and yeah, there we go. I was looking for it to apply fire, and I was like, why aren't these bullets applying fire? As you can see, one of the augments made it so it does more recoil. And honestly, for the extra damage, I might keep it, but that is a lot of recoil. And the nice thing about this being a looter shooter is obviously the recoil part can change. So if you really don't like the recoil, some of them give less recoil, some of them give more. Max fire rate decrease. This for the fire rate, especially after the patch, I think the fire rate's too good to kind of mess with. Though I might instead go fan fire, because I don't really ADS with this weapon a lot. Though the damage you see, and this is a very interesting one because this gives you a lot of extra damage, and I don't want to focus on this too much because obviously I have I have the rest of the video to show you the rest of the game. But this right here is kind of why I enjoy this game, because I'm sitting here, I have to weigh the pros and the cons of each upgrade, their chances, and which one is more valuable now. And this right here is kind of why I like Mycopunk, because like that's a nice amount of damage when I'm hip firing. And now, sure, I can't fit on the previous damage but recoil augment and then the maximum reserves. But here's another thing about Mycopunk. As you can see, when I use ammo like this, sure, there's no ammo drops that you've seen from the enemies, but how things work is when your other weapon, by any means, does damage, it gives you ammo back. And I will actually get to that in a second. And now that this has been changed, yeah, I'll do that. With that, I will get back to grenades. So grenades, they are very, very interesting things, because each one has its own unique gimmick, as you can see and probably saw from the gameplay. The fire grenade, every time I was throwing it, was healing me, and when you overheal, you get this over shield that goes over your health, and that is very nice. Sorry, I had to pause there. Had to pause there because I was recording and someone came in. I didn't want to interrupt the video with that. Family came in. Very very funny. Where was I? Oh yeah, grenades. The grenades all have their own unique things, with fire healing you, and this mod specifically when it heals you when you throw it. And every grenade has a mod like this, where every grenade improves the damage of its matching elemental type. So fire grenade boosts fire damage with this mod, shock boosts shock, and corrosive boosts corrosive. And the whole thing about fire grenade is all about healing yourself. You saw this before when I was playing Wrangler. I was constantly igniting myself, lighting myself on fire, and then exploding, and that's because of this exotic mod, internal combustion. In this specifically, when you light yourself on fire enough and deal enough fire damage to yourself, you explode and heal yourself for a lot of healing. And so I had no trouble really keeping myself alive while I was on Wrangler and when I took chip damage. And so
Ice cream! Oh, wait, you guys can't eat. I'll have to finish the whole tub.
Well, fuck you, I guess, Roachard. I like ice cream. Too bad I can't fucking eat it. But if you want healing, if you want reliable healing aside from the random drops of enemies, in all honesty, go for Healing Grenade. It's solid, it's reliable, and a lot of its gimmicks are involved about lighting yourself on fire for more charge and getting double grenade. And I will say, for mods, a lot of the mods you will find on characters, and for guns specifically, guns and grenades, you will only find specifically mods for them. So there's no mods any of these shared together. But for characters, 90% of these are character specific, except for something like core processing, which is like, or core repurposing, which is like for everybody. But you know, that being said, that's something you should consider, because this means this is the healing grenade. You should be associating fire with healing, despite all three of these aspects doing the same thing and the same amount of damage. Shock grenade, as you probably saw when I was playing Bruiser, was all about movement. You get a big burst of movement from using this grenade with its augments, and that's all what it's about. Livewire makes you turn into the grenade, and you can use that with several other mods to basically give yourself a really big amount of speed. I don't know if I have a internet setup. Why do we have two of these saved that are basically the same setup? You know what? Perfect time to change this, actually. Actually, hold on. There is some things I wanted there. For the purposes of this, I want to... I want to take some of these off, but not all of these. I want to take this off. Actually, oh, okay. Maybe, well, let's see if, I want to get to the other things I want first. Because I need to fit this, and this is where you have problems, right? It's like, oh, this is a really big one. How do I fit this? And that's where this neat little thing comes in handy, where you can store these in here while you figure out how you slot them. I'm kind of gonna rush this a little bit because I just kind of want to showcase this for a moment. So like on this setup, I become the grenade, it keeps exploding, and I keep launching myself with it. And if you want to do that, that's really nice. Or you can say fuck it and remove this section. And let's say you grab Marathon. Do I have an already bought Marathon? I don't. Let's see. Strongest Marathon effect is probably this 29% one, so I'm gonna grab that. Right. And now, when I get my grenade again, you're going to see I zoom very, very quickly. Yeah, look at that. Very, very fast. Very, very fast. And you can, of course, use upgrades to decrease the cooldown of the grenade while trading off some other things. And the really fun part of Shock Grenade is that it's all about movement, as you can see, because this buffs sliding. This recharges your grenade while you're sliding, sorry. Blah, blah, blah. And so if you're playing Wrangler, this would just give you even more speed and more reasons to slide on Wrangler, which is really nice, or move around in general, because Wrangler can do more movement things aside from
Does this
sliding.
smell like gas to any of you?
You can launch yourself into the air. You can also gain grenade energy like this when you electrocute with another weapon. And there's weapons that do electrocute, so this is really, really nice. Technically, you also electrocute yourself, so this would also be a way to gain energy back, like with Fire Grenade. And there is a lot of other fun augments here that really, really accent the speed lifestyle of, you know, the Shock Grenade. And like, for example, like, let's say I kind of, in my rush, I kind of realized that I fucked up myself. There you go. I think that should be fine now that I've slid that. And for example, now that I've put that mod on, that increases recharge speed but decreases the size of the explosion. The explosion radius of this grenade only happens when I'm like basically right next to an enemy. But since it recharges so fast, I can just constantly keep up live wire and that extra speed bonus afterwards. So I'm always zooming. At the same time though, because of this augment, live wire doesn't last as long. And that's honestly, if you want to build it like that, that's up to you. You know, I will save it with the non-variant, but like this is what I mean. This is why you need to like consider augments and trade-offs and how you build a grenade. Because like, even though you build this grenade for on fire for healing, you can also build it with cluster bombs, which is a very good augment, and you can do pretty solid damage by throwing multiple grenades from this augment. It's really nice. It's something you have to consider with all of these grenades. How you build it, what you want to build it for, because these grenades provide a serious amount of utility, but also are a core component to each build. Because if you're doing fire damage, for example, then you should probably be using fire grenades to boost napalm. And if you're running acid for like any of these guns, you want to use acid grenade, which segues perfectly into what the fuck is acid grenade's shtick. If this is healing, this is movement. And unfortunately, it is utility on the corrosive grenade. And the corrosive grenade's utility features things like you can call in heavy weapons whenever you throw a grenade. This is fine. It's not that great, mostly because heavy weapons right now aren't very good, and the devs are planning on buffing them, so keep your eye on this if you do get the game and want to try it. And calling in heavy weapons, like big guns when you throw a grenade, is cool. And this is also nice. Just activating your secondary ability is nice. There's a lot of fun utility things on corrosive grenade, and that's just kind of its whole thing, right? It's utility, and comparatively utility isn't as strong as healing or movement. And as you can tell, movement can really save your life, or, you know, healing can really save your life as well, because it's healing, you know. And unfortunately, the only thing that's really unique about the corrosive grenade that makes it really as competitive as the other grenades is deteriorate. Because for 1 minute, when you hit those enemies, you saw those little mushroom robots, the little orbs. If you hit their metal shell and their gooey, glowing inner center with this grenade, it makes them take 35% multiplicative damage. And big word there, multiplicative, because that's a big amount of damage. Because like I'm hitting 132, 132. That's a pretty decent amount of damage. I hit 160 there, I think actually. Or was that the Ignite? I think that was the Ignite. Now, if I throw the Corrosive Grenade, I'm hitting 178. That is some juicy damage. And that lasts for over a minute. That is really, really good. But that's also among one of the few things that makes Corrosive Grenade good, but not as good as the other two. It also has this, so that when you're near the explosion of the Corrosive Grenade, it also gives you an overshield, which is nice. That is healing. But as you saw with the Fire Grenade, you can just light yourself on fire to get the Fire Grenade back so insanely often. And the only real helpful recharge that's equivalent to that, because the Shock Grenade also had it, as you saw, where you shock stuff in general, not just yourself, and you get charged back. This is when you stand in an acid puddle, you get charged back, which is not as universally good. But again, aside from that, there is still a lot of fun utility, like teleporting when you throw your grenade. Your grenade charges when you're standing still, which, I mean, you shouldn't be standing still often, but hey, it's still there. Causing acid puddles when you throw your grenades, which you can come into this if you really want to. And there's really, really interesting ways to build Corrosive Grenade, but none that are insanely strong compared to the other two. Like, for example, you could build on a Corrosive Grenade polymer coating, and then you do glub glub. So like, sure, you reduce the explosion size, so there's less explosion size for this to actually be effective. But since you're throwing extra grenades, one more grenade, you technically can cover more area and can apply the overshield twice, which, I mean, that doesn't do anything because you can only apply the one overshield. But at the same time, hey, maybe in like a case of like you have a bruiser and the bruiser takes damage, and you also have like another ally right next to them that's like too far apart from the explosion. Having two grenades being thrown at once, you can maybe get them both because they're just out of the normal explosion distance for the Corrosive Grenade. Though I will say, if you're running Corrosive Grenade for like the more supportive part of the overshield for your team, probably shouldn't run Deteriorate, because as you can see, this also lasts on you for a minute and also makes you take a huge amount of damage. So keep that in mind. But yeah, now that that's over, I am going to boot up another mission. And I am going to showcase some of the weapons. So some of the weapons we have is the basic SMG Cycler. Its whole thing is all about elements, and it's very nice because it has unique, one of the few unique elements in this game, Decay, which actually does something unique from the other elements, which is it makes enemies take more damage multiplicatively, and it can stack with Rot from Corrosive Grenade, further, you know, giving you a reason to use Corrosive Grenade to really boost the damage of another gun. And when one of those little balls or even a boss is at 10% HP, all of its limbs fall off. And that is something I haven't mentioned, but you've probably noticed in the gameplay subtly, is enemies, when they die, they drop their body parts. And that is intentional because if you don't kill an enemy, firstly, it will regenerate. And secondly, while an enemy is regenerating, it will pick up other enemy body parts. So you saw before there was the laser abomination with all the big fucking lasers of death. A basic little grunt that you've seen chasing me all the time, one of those can pick up the laser if it so pleases. and start shooting that at you. So suddenly, the melee enemies now have giant lasers of death from the boss you were shooting at. And that is really scary. And so with the DK on... Oh yeah, my bad. With the DK lets you sever those body parts, and since they're rotting and taking more damage, you can very easily destroy them. Aside from that, everything else here is all about the elements. And you should remember that Cycler is about the elements and, you know, focusing on them, which is really nice. It's really good with the fire element as well because of Scorching Detonation, which causes that chain death explosion you saw at the start. And it also has Infinity Burn, which lights yourself on fire, which pairs beautifully with the fire grenade's internal combustion you saw. I'm not going to overview like every mod or even every exotic. I'm just going to show you just a handful of the few fun ones so you can get an idea of how the guns kind of go into their niche and their gimmicks and the few gimmicky mods that do exist, and if you want to really use them. Keep in mind that the few here are, you know, based on level, and something they did in this update actually is you get these weapons by just leveling up. And I want to emphasize that because when you level up, you definitely want to keep in mind which gun do I really feel like wanting to go for. And the nice part of this game is no gun really feels bad except maybe the DMLR and the Trident, but I'll get to that. So aside from the second look being about the elements, the Jackrabbit is a lever action shotgun that ricochets. And don't worry about the build. I know this looks so scuffed with the super wide fucking spread. I was messing with shit. I was messing with shit. But as you can see, when it ricochets, it applies fire. And that is really good. And the whole thing about the Jackrabbit is that it is a fire shotgun that focuses in all on its ricocheting, and it's really fun because it has things like pesticide where you replace your aim down sights with a flamethrower. And if I want to, I forget if I actually saved it on here. Yeah, okay. You have pesticide. I just realized this is a very fucky shape. This is a very fucky shape because of wildfire. I guess I can kind of just fit it like that because I'm gonna revert it anyways. But like, look at that. You get a cool flamethrower instead of your ADS. And every gun and every character has fun gimmicks like this, including the grenades, as you've seen. And the fun parts of the Jackrabbit is the fact that it leans so much into fire that it even has its own form of internal combustion. Except this doesn't heal you, but when you light yourself on fire, also lights you on fire and gives you infinite ammo, which is really, really, really nice. Because if you don't want to use the Cycler with this Infinity Burn to light yourself on fire, you can use the Jackrabbit. Though I'd probably, you would probably use the Cycler because you've seen it does chain explosion death. But hey, there's still fun stuff on the Jackrabbit for you to use, like the Flamethrower, like Pummeler, which lets you reload to shoot a big burst. And so, don't knock the Jackrabbit. It's fine. It's pretty decent. And these are two really good starting options, I would say. The Swarm Launcher, which you've seen me technically use in the background, actually is really cool because it shoots these little swarms that fall down and do big damage to enemies and sneaks them. Now, of course, it doesn't work like this normally because, again, as you've seen, all of these weapons have their own gimmicks, except the Cycler just shoots like a regular gun, even despite all of its gimmicks, and the Jackrabbit shoots like a regular shotgun, except for the super wide spread I gave it, but ignore that. And the Swarmer in this scenario, I'm pretty sure this is the... I wanted to do that just in case because I can't remember. But in this case, it doesn't usually work like that, as you're seeing, where it's like a weird double barrel release all the projectiles shotgun. It's usually more like a full auto gun like this that kind of just releases them there and swarms like that. And I know that might seem a little more disappointing that it's not like a double barrel rain fire of doom like that, but you can build it like this, and now it's a completely different gun. And I will say not to knock it, because not only as you can see it does really solid damage, but it has probably one of the more unique gimmicky mods among guns called Crop Duster. And every gun has fun gimmicky ones as you've seen, but Crop Duster specifically, when you're in the air, it spawns swarm bullets in the air. And now, as you probably realized, is whenever you deal damage with a gun, it gives you ammo for your other gun. So, dear viewer, what do you think would happen if I just so happened to stay in air above enemies? As you can see, if you look at my ammo reserves, the bullets gain fire rate, and they just keep shooting while I'm in the air. And because of that, when they hit enemies while I'm flying around, I get ammo back. And that's probably why you've seen me basically infinitely firing this thing whenever I'm in the air on an aerial character like Scrapper or like Glider. And that is a very strong tool, because you can just hold this in your back pocket, and whenever you deal damage with these bullets while you're in the air, which costs nothing by the way, while you're in the air, as you can see, you don't lose ammo from your swarmer at all. And yeah, that's kind of good, because even though it's missing these targets, you've seen when I actually start a mission, it hits a lot of enemies, and I don't really need to worry about ammo. Aside from that, though, it fucking shoots really fucking hard and does a lot of damage. And honestly, I like the Swarmer. It feels good. It has its niche. Every gun has its niche. And more importantly, it feels like it has a place in the meta as like a sort of aerial backup to guns. You know, when you're in the air, because you can just keep it in your back pocket, and it gives you that extra ammo that you might need to keep shooting. Now we're going to move on to the DMLR. The DMLR is a fun weapon. And the issue with the DMLR of why it's kind of a bit of a noob trap, and it did recently get buffed, but it is still kind of a noob trap, is the fact that this DMR mode is really okay. As you can see, it's able to kill a grunt in like half your magazine, but it's still kind of it's fine. To be honest, it was worse before this patch. It couldn't even kill a grunt in its full magazine. It was laughably pathetic. And at least now it's half to kill one grunt, but as you can see, that's half for a singular grunt. Ugh. But it has the really cool mode where when you shoot it enough in the DMR mode, you get a high-powered laser. And now the laser is obviously a lot better, but it's very single target. And another thing I want to note is you can use the laser not full charged if you just press the R button at any point. And most of its upgrades unfortunately really leans into either being either DMR or either laser, kind of forcing you to play either into the laser or into the DMR mode. And now with the laser mode, it can get a chain lightning effect, which is really good. And it's kind of nice. You can even make the laser into the primary mode, as you can see, where the laser kind of charges up the DMR mode instead, so it does more damage. And I find this interesting, but when you do this mode, you're kind of just using it to keep the laser as your primary weapon, basically. And this is fine. It also uniquely is able to pierce shields, so it has some utility. It has its niche, but it's still not as great as the other weapons. If you want to build for a setup that uses both, you can use Autocycler, and you can make it work. You can make a setup with Autocycler work where you constantly swap between the two. But genuinely, I would say probably avoid the DMLR when you're a sort of newer player, because it's just really not that good when you're starting off, and I would rather say you grab the Swarm Launcher. And if you really like the DMLR and its playstyle and the really cool big laser like I did when I was starting out, I would say give it a try when you are a bit more leveled up. Genuinely, don't knock the DMLR. It might not be as good as the other things around it, but it has its purpose. It is somewhat better now that it got buffed, and I would say give it a shot later, but definitely don't start with it. The lead flinger is the thing you've been seeing me use all of this video, and it's probably the one I'm most excited for. And I will stop goofing around, constantly swapping these two, because it's time to focus on the big, the bad lead flinger. The whole thing about it is you get a kill, you reload faster. Now obviously, as you can see, you don't really need to worry about reloading because one of its augments is Lucky Bastard. You have a chance to refund when you shoot your last shot. This makes it so you have a really big bullet, but you only have one bullet in the chamber. Bada bing, bada boom. It's just infinitely shooting bullets. It takes ammo from your reserves, and that does really good damage. Now you might be wondering, that seems pretty strong. And it kind of is. I personally didn't really want nerf to it, mostly because its damage was fine against bosses. And this was very much used as a bossing weapon before, and a clear weapon, because we can see, because of the augments I put on earlier, it shoots 3 big bullets that apply fire, and that does really, really good clear. And it also does a lot better on this heavier bossing kind of dummy here, and that's really, really good. The main thing as well is that it's all about around luck. You know, it's a revolver. You kind of want to lead into the funny luck-based gambling, I can't stop winning kind of idea. As well as it has the fun junk shots, if you want to go for that. I don't really have anything to say aside from this is just really good, even with and without exotics, because you can get things like fan fire, which is extra damage when hip firing. All of these, these are all really good. Even if you don't have these, it's a solid weapon. It's great. It's good for bossing. It's good for mobbing. This is very good for mobbing. Somewhat decent for bossing. I obviously not as good as this, but yeah, these are very good at chaff. Very, very, very good at chaff. This is a lot better at bossing than the cycler because it does way more damage to cores with its where is it? Well, most of its mods really, because it can improve its fire damage. But I'm looking specifically for opening charge, where you can also apply shock. And so, genuinely, none of these weapons here, except maybe the DMLR, are kind of bad for bossing if you end up wanting to use these. Though obviously the lead flinger is going to overperform over all of these. And that's because obviously these guns have their niche. I would maybe like to see the devs kind of buff the other weapons to be either better or worse against bossing. And to kind of segue from that, we have the plate launcher, which, as you saw before, shoots giant fucking The laser blades are not included, people. I am sorry. That is an augment that you need to get. Yeah, here we go. Clearing plasma, where it shoots the giant plasma blade. Very cool. And the plate launcher does a really solid amount of damage, as you can very obviously tell. It is very good at clearing, because you saw me clearing very easily with it in mission. It also has a chain lightning effect. It has a lot of really, really nice stuff to it. And it's just a really, really good gun. It's one of the better guns because it not only allows it to do shock and shock on a character like Bruiser, you can use to get your cooldowns back faster, because there is an augment that lets you get your where is it? I'm forgetting what it is. And if someone's in the comments, please remind me. There is an augment, I don't remember where, but it lets you recharge your movement ability much quicker if you shock an enemy. I don't remember what it's called, but if anyone knows, leave a comment about it, because that's mostly what I'm referring to, because you've seen this thing shoot big plates that spin around, and that is insane, plus the fact that it does shock damage. Not innately, but it can if you upgrade it like that. Makes it really, really strong. And it's also pretty good at bosses because of the fact that it has these spinning blades that do a lot of damage. And some access to really strong elements on top of the chain lightning effect. Like decay. That's right, the plate launcher can get decay, so it's even better at mobbing, but it's also able to debuff bosses and improve its own bossing damage by just shooting. And that is honestly really good. This weapon and the lead flinger, these two are really good, because this does really good clear, even better than the lead flinger, but it slightly suffers at bossing. And, you know, starting off it also only shoots one plate, but you can obviously fix that with compressed plate storage to fire up to 4. And the lead flinger is a lot better against bossing, but not as good at mobbing due to the fact that, you know, shoots 3 bullets that explode, but it doesn't shoot literal spinning plasma plates of fucking death. And then there is, because I'm gonna very quickly move on from this because that was pretty much it, is the gunship cannon, which probably got the biggest nerf recently. And I'm going to have to like show this kind of raw. God, which one of these setups is which? I forget. I don't even know if I saved this one. I think I did. I think I saved it to this. Did I? Yes, I did. Wait. Fuck. I don't know what this setup. Oh no, I remember what the setup was. I'll change it later. That was my bad. I didn't remember what the setup was. But the whole thing about gunship cannon is it is a explosive minigun. Explosive minigun. If this doesn't immediately scream cool to you, I have several problems with you. Like, look at that. That's some sick animations. And a lot of its augments help it improve its damage and make it more into a really good bosser in many other ways. Again, I said I wasn't really going to cover a lot of, like, all the mods, and, you know, that'd take forever. And I was only going to focus on, like, some of the more fun, gimmicky ones. So, for specifically the gunship and this setup that's very popular, I'm gonna focus on Hull Piercer, which instead of turning this thing into a big minigun that you shoot big explosive bullets with, you instead make it into more of a single target, big damage bullet using
I had a
Hull
dream last
Piercer,
night that my ex-wife brought me to bed while
Thumper,
dressed as a
Gunship,
tuxedo.
and Frantic Fingers,
We had such a
as
lovely
well
time.
as, if that will show up, Point Demolition, so you get more damage but no explosion size, and Unarmored, where you take more damage but you also deal more damage. And that makes it so, as you can see, if I fire the gun, because of Frantic Fingers, it doesn't reload if I just tap R. But if I spam R, now it's constantly reloading. And pairing that with, if I remember correctly, it's called Thumper? Yeah, Thumper. Thumper lets you shoot it in a burst. And so when you spam reload, it's basically full auto again, but has a lot more damage. Of course, with all these augments, the big downside of this is you massively reduce your ammo, because you saw me go from hundreds of ammo to 21. But to be fair, for doing all of that damage, you do so much. And because of this being a really high damage, like, ammo chewing gun, this is a really good gun for bossing, and it's really fun. I would recommend picking this up when you reach, I think this is level, because this is level, like, instantly you get this at the start. This is level 5, I remember correctly. This is level 10. This is 15. I recommend getting this. This is good. This is great. And not only that, but if that already didn't intrigue you enough, exploding rocket ship. Do I need to say more? I'm not gonna go in depth. I'm not gonna go in depth on the mods, but if you see this, right? If you see this and that goes, that makes you go, hell yeah! Get the gunship. The Trident, I don't really have built out because I don't like it. It doesn't feel very good and is not very good. But it has a place. Now, as you can see here, it looks like an actual minigun, and this looks very, very cool. But that's not how it actually fires. If I take off all of this, what is the Trident base-off? The Trident base-off is a full auto gun that changes its spread entirely based on how you're aiming it. And now this gun, it's not very good against tougher enemies, even when you fully upgrade it and put stuff onto it. So what is this gun good for? It is a very good chaff clearing weapon. It clears all the basic grunts. It is very good at that when you fully upgrade it. Especially because it gets things like Heaven's Fury, where when you kill an enemy, or well, not even when you kill an enemy, when you damage it, you summon smites. And yes, as you can see, you get more smites depending on your roll and a better chance, which is kind of insane. But, like, yeah, and then you had Shutterfire, which you just saw, which was the kind of minigun mode. And this is a really fun gun. Having a triple-barreled fucking full-auto gun that is water-based, because you tried it, and even has a fun water-based augment there that I'm not going to really talk about. That's for you to discover and to play around with. It is a very solid gun if you want a workhorse weapon for clearing out mobs. Not really a great bossing weapon, but it has its purpose. If you really want to go out all mobbing, you can go Cycler, you can go Trident. Both are great options. Both are great options. I wouldn't recommend the Trident over the Gunship though when you're like first grabbing these two, right? Like if you had to choose between these two, probably get this. I say that as when you have to pick between these two because they recently updated it. I said before, where you get these guns through level up, and before this update you would be base, you have these two, and then at level 5 you get to pick these, and you have to pick one of them, and you would have to craft the other, because you can see there is a crafting system. And so I thought that, I don't know, I would need to confirm this, that when you level up, you get to keep picking between these, and eventually you still unlock these two level ups, but I don't know. I will say, if you do have to pick between these, both these are good options. Go with what you like. Probably pick up Gunship, that you can't pick up the Trident if you want to. Pick up Swarm, get this later, and you start off with both of these. I'm not going to talk about the weapons at the bottom there, because these are secret weapons. I'm not going to tell you how you get these. I'm not going to tell you where you get these. But these are cool. These are cool weapons. There is secrets in this game. Definitely explore. Have some fun. Look up a YouTube video if you want to. This game is so cool. And all I'm going to say is, if you don't like a game that has a chainsaw, I have some fine words with you. I mean, of course, this game can always just be not for you. And if you, for some reason, have watched this video until this point, and this game is not for you, and you decide to just watch into a... How long is this video now? Because I put this on a timer, so I can kind of just be succinct and talk about every element of the game. An hour, 21 minutes? Yeah, no, if you stuck here for an hour, 21 minutes about me talking about all the stuff in this game, thanks, I guess. I don't really do this for the money. I just wanted to talk about this game because it's cool, and I think more people should play it if you like looter shooters or hard shooters. So I'll wrap up with the last few things that are very minor. There is a backlog which has challenges that lets you get free stuff, free skins, free upgrades, free cosmetics, levels. Another thing is when you are leveling weapons, you get these. You have a little reward track. You get materials, you get upgrades, you get a guaranteed purple upgrade, a guaranteed exotic, Saxonite, which you need for the later upgrades, as you can see for the exotics, and another exotic upgrade. So if you like a weapon, stick with it, you'll get rewarded. I find this a very nice idea. It's a great system. I love it. No problems with it. Same goes for grenades. Everything has it. Obviously not characters because they have a fucking skill tree. Another thing is materials. You get these by going to the different planets, as you saw before. When you go to other planets, other parts of the planet, each one, kind of like Deep Rock, has its own materials and its own modifiers and rewards. And this is something you should keep in mind, because you see in Moldy Tundra, you get these two resources versus these two, and these two. And that rotates out because the missions obviously rotate, and that is something you should keep in mind. There is also the fact that when you dismantle mods, there is a crafting system, and this crafting system lets you craft mods that you've already gotten in order to get better rolls on them. So let's say you get really fucked on RNG and you've been deleting a lot of really bad exotic rolls you don't want. You can craft a exotic and pray you get a better chance in order to, you know, maybe get the roll you want. I'm not gonna go too in depth on this, but yeah, this is here for all rarities. It's really nice. Some missions you will get these and these as rewards. These are all really good. This is so you get an upgrade specifically for the employee you're playing, whether it's glider, scrapper, or whoever. And this is for the specific guns and a grenade you have equipped. This is also really nice when you have these and you're trying to, like, let's say you really like corrosive grenade and its utility. Let's say you like that, right? Like, let's say even though you know the heavy weapons aren't great and I am happy the devs are buffing them, are planning to buff them later, by the way. Let's say you really like using the heavy weapons, because calling in a grenade, or using a grenade to call in a heavy weapon, and you happen to get the fucking railgun is kind of fucking sick. And so, if you like this, right, let's say you got an exotic, and you really like it, but you don't have anything else for the grenade, because, I don't know, you were lucky or unlucky, you can use that to get other upgrades. Or maybe you do know of this upgrade, and you want to get this upgrade, but you don't have it. You could also still use this and hope an exotic drops and you get it. And this is great as well. This is just a resource doubler. When you use it, next mission you complete, whatever resources you got in that mission, doubles. Great system, great mechanic, because this kind of forces you to choose your mission, but also play it as best as you can. Because if you obviously perform better your next mission, when you use this, you get a shit ton of resources, and that's really, really cool. And aside from that, the only thing that there is to cover, aside from the funny vehicles you can spawn in mission, or the drop pod skins that don't exist yet, is going to be appearance. You might be like, why am I covering appearance? Why am I covering cosmetics? Well, the main thing why I want to cover cosmetics is because cosmetics in this game are really cool. It's a looter shooter twist on cosmetics, where every character has cosmetics in the same skins, but, well, actually some of them are unique. Sorry, I don't want to say same skins, because, like, for example, Scrapper has Sweetie, which is unique to her, but Wrangler has Sunset, which is unique to him. And Uniform is an example of a skin that everyone can get, though. And I want to really specify this because this is base Wrangler, right? He's red, he's a cowboy, has a nice color palette, red, green, brown, silver. I like it. But because it's a looter shooter, all skins can get unique random rolled modifiers on that. So as you can see, if I do I have a regular uniform? I don't think I do. I think this one was also modified. I did. I'm stupid. I should have checked a little bit more. It's fine. It was only 25 gats worth. But as you can see, makes him red. Gives him some nice black undertones. Changes his hat to have the Saxon logo on it. It's very nice. You get this from killing the amalgam. Pretty cool. Won't explain what that is. But let's say you want to feel unique, you know, because everyone can get the basic uniform. Well, when you get this uniform, or any skin for that matter, there's a chance it drops with unique modifiers, as you can see, with this one dropping Chroma 78 and color cycling 73. And both of these percents are actually randomized. So I now have a green Saxon uniform. And because of this, since all of the percents and the modifiers are different, as you can see, I have uniform with Beach Day, Emerald, and Hue 86, which specifically gives me this appearance. The emerald green metal, the pinkish purple pants, and it also gives me the Beach Day effect on the material here. I don't know if you can really see that, but it's really, really nice. And for example, you have Shifted, which as you can see here is color changing the colors, and as you can see, I was not lying. The color cycling is random. 73, 80, and because of this, it, you know, has a completely different color scheme on top of being red neon. And the color cycling also changes the neon color. So instead of being neon red, it's neon green. And because of this, you can also get things like this. I keep misplacing that. this, where you instead get color cycling 52, and now it's blue. You get a blue Saxon uniform. And personally, I really like this system because this means you can get really lucky, and you can get a skin that has a shit ton of these modifiers, which makes it really rare. The more modifiers you have, the more rare that skin gets, right? Because you keep going up the percentages and the chances of that to drop, and you get a really, really unique skin. And for me personally, I like this. I haven't seen any other Wrangler running this skin, and it's obviously not rare because it's only 2 modifiers, but you have to keep in mind, for anyone else to have this skin specifically, they have to roll Beach Day, and they have to roll Neon, and they have to roll specifically Red Neon, and not only that, but they have to roll Red Neon 75 and Beach Day 83. Around there anyways. So there's a pretty good chance somebody gets Neon, but it's pink Neon, or a different Neon, and it creates this really cool effect where I have like this orangey kind of fiery looking Wrangler, and I really love it because I can use it with my fire setup here with the incendiary grenade, letting myself fire with the cycler, the lead flinger, and it feels really like my own. And gun skins are the exact same way. They have this same system, this same thing, and sometimes I really like the more simple things like vanilla guild. I just like how this looks. Could I go for a more rare skin? Yes. But this is really, really nice. However, you can, of course, collect a bunch of skins and be like, you know what? No one has this. Like, I'm just gonna unlock this for the example. Somebody might have this, right? But this is still mine, right? Maybe somebody doesn't like it, or maybe somebody does have this. To be honest, pretty hard to get this exact roll, but it's possible. And because of this, you can have a completely different look that's unique to you compared to someone else, all because of that random rolling on that skin. To kind of emphasize this, I have a bunch of scrapper skins that have like the different modifiers. So as you can see, you can get double neon, and it looks like this: double neon gilded. The odds of that are kind of funny, that you can get double neon and then gilded, and I haven't seen any other scrapper with this skin. And again, maybe I should be playing even more, and maybe I would find one. But like I said, everyone likes running their different skins, and everyone gets randomly rolled skins. So from just playing the game, so you probably might not see a scrapper or a wrangler with the skin that you personally enjoy yourself. And that is what makes this game so fun for me, and so lively with its characters, its gameplay, and its customization. Because, like, let's be honest here, if I have something like this which is pink neon, sure, this isn't very special because pink neon might not be the hardest thing to roll, since it's one modifier, and they have to roll 52 or be near 52 in the coloring and get pink neon. But hey, this is still my pink neon glider, and if I really wanted to be special, I can get more unique skins and really farm the uniform for, let's say, a more unique look that I like this one, which is gilded color shifting, so it's more of like an overall gold look. Or this one, which gives me ruby metal and pink neon. It has a more darkish red undertone that is still different from the regular uniform or uniform shifted. Here's the regular uniform. This is like a bright, more bloody red. I put on this one. You can immediately tell the difference. And you can tell it in game too. This isn't like just for you. People can visually see that same difference. So if I put on this one, see? You can immediately tell. And with that, I think I will end the video here. Oh yeah, by the way, you can get completely atrocious like combinations like that. I hate this combination. I think this looks ugly as shit, but still. So that is going to be the end of the video. Here we go. And I will leave you guys to that. If any of you are wondering why there's a bajillion pop-ups and you think like the pop-ups are annoying, by the way, that is purely because of this event. We're deciding on the next weapon that gets added to the game, and as you've seen from me playing, when you do missions, you get points leading towards whichever gun gets put into the game. And those pop-ups are like a funny little gag that like blocks your screen occasionally, only when you're on the ship. And don't worry about that. That's not gonna stay after this update. But yeah. Go try Mycopunk. Like the video if you like the video. Whatever YouTubers say, I don't really care. Did you know that like 712% of you are not subscribed to my channel? You should subscribe or something like that. And have a good day, actually. Have a good day. Hug your family, hug your friends, talk to somebody you like. Grab a soda, grab a water. Go touch grass, go play a game. And have a good day.